Hey, flooring pros. I'm Jerry Levinson, and this is the Flooring Business Podcast, where we talk to expert flooring dealers, suppliers, marketing experts, and software experts, and anyone who I believe is going to help you in your flooring business. Now, my mission is to give you good information that'll help you reach your goals. If you're just starting your business, or you're trying to reach $5 million in sales, or you're getting ready to sell your business, you're going to find useful information that'll help you reach your goals and profit now in the flooring industry. The Flooring Business Podcast is brought to you by Ring Ring Marketing. Go to ringringmarketing.com and request a free analysis of your website, your area, and your scope of work. They'll make recommendations on how to best strategize your marketing efforts so you get the best return on your investment. You'll even get a coach that helps you get better results.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Are you super excited for everybody to get your book?
I am. We got, how many? Over 50 ordered now. We got them all ready to mail and be sending them out today. So by the time they're listening to this, they should have the book.
Hopefully. I'm doing my very best to get all of those books in their envelopes. So really, I have a few questions for you today just to talk about your new book that you wrote. This is your third book.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's the best one.
Actually, I'm excited about this one. I mean, the first one I wrote, I called it My New Book, which was kind of a joke because I thought if anybody says, read my new book, they'll be talking about my book. So, and then I wrote Profit Now, and I did that very quickly to get something out for an event we had coming up. Hello, Marshall. And then the third one I wrote for Marshall. No, the third book is very specific towards flooring dealers and based on my experience as a flooring dealer, as well as working with flooring dealers, there was a lot of things that we learned that were really fascinating, interesting stuff that we cover in the book. Hello. I told you, this dog loves me.
He goes to the people that doesn't like dogs.
I'm not a big dog guy.
Yeah.
And now everybody hates me. If you put you cut that out, that I'm not a big dog guy. But
Don't cut that out. Okay, and so tell us a little bit about the book. Obviously, it's for flooring dealers or people that are starting off a flooring business, or is it for people that's already?
Yeah. Interesting, in the first chapter, I cover pretty much how you get into the business. So there's different types that get into this business. The most popular one is the installer that converts into a flooring dealer. So he talks about some of the challenges that you have, such as, pricing is dramatically different. So how you have to sell is way different and much higher than what you're used to. Then we have the people that inherit it basically, or take it over from their parents.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that, working with their dad, and then all of a sudden dad retires and gives that business over to the son, or they buy it. Then we have the people that change industries. Those are interesting. So some people are very successful in the industry they're in, but retire or sell their business or get out of an industry and look to the flooring industry because there's a lot of great opportunities in the flooring industry. So they're not as knowledgeable about flooring industry or about flooring and installation, but they chose to get into the business. And I think those are pretty much the ones. And then buying a business. So some people will go ahead and buy a business. We talk about the difference between buying a business and then starting up from scratch. And then some of the discussion is like how much capital do you need?
Yeah.
And it's really that 50 to 100,000 is good startup capital. The problem with having too much money, I find, is that you spend it too fast on marketing that doesn't work. So struggling and figuring out your marketing and building that foundation is a good thing and a healthy thing for people to go by. But then we also talk about, well, what do you do if you have no capital? Because there's a lot of people starting up with no capital. So do you just not do it and give up because you don't have the capital, can't get a loan? No, there's still ways to do it, to hustle, to go after business and get business. So a little bit for everybody in here.
Okay, how about for people that just has no business experience and wants to start a flooring company, has no flooring background?
Yeah.
Would this book benefit them, or
Well, absolutely. And it really, with anything, it doesn't matter your experience, your knowledge, or your background. It really has to do with your desire, because there's nothing that you can't learn. You know, there's so much information on YouTube. I've created a lot of videos on YouTube. There's a lot of information in this book to learn and accomplish good things. So I talked to one flooring dealer that wanted to get into the business. He was going to start in the wood flooring industry. And I said, you know, that one probably will take a little bit more time. I mean, I would want more knowledge and experience to get involved in wood flooring. And I make some of those distinctions in this book. Like, I think anybody can sell carpet and luxury vinyl, laminate. But I think you requires more specialty to be in the tile business, a little more complicated. You know, and then certainly for wood, there's a lot to learn in the wood that you're not going to get in a book. You're not going to learn it quickly. It's going to require experience.
Okay. And can you walk me through each chapter? On the first chapter, the beginning describes the ways in which people get started in the flooring business.
And that's what we were just going over, is all the various ways. So how can you get into the business? How much money would it require? Just the different opportunities that you have. Also, do you get a showroom, or do you do shop at home? What products do you carry? You know, one thing I've learned and I found fascinating is that people that are carrying one or two products tend to move faster than the people that are doing carpet, luxury vinyl, tile, and hardwood. You know, the more you carry, the slower you move. There's a lot of people that are involved, also doing kitchen cabinets, countertops, or window coverings. And it seems like the more that you're covering and the more that you're marketing, because in the beginning, you don't have that capital to market. So you move a lot quicker. You'll get to 5 million a lot faster. And I use 5 million as a baseline because I feel like that's an interesting number. It's a good number to get to, where a lot of small companies are under that $5 million mark. So the discussion I like to have with my clients and having this book is, what is your goal and how do we get to your goal, not what are we trying to sell. We're not focused on selling everything that we carry and everything we do. We're focused more on what's the most effective for our marketing message and our selling opportunities.
Yeah, and marketing, that chapter is very in-depth. Can you talk to us a little bit more about how important that chapter is? Yeah,
it's one of the only, you know, if you're going to only read 2 chapters, that's one of them.
Okay.
It starts there with the marketing, because at the end of the day, we're in the business of attracting customers. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter what your prices are, what your experience, knowledge, background. None of that matters if you can't attract customers.
Right, that's true.
So your ability to attract customers is going to be the most important thing to your flooring business, to have a business. So marketing is key, learning and understanding how your ads look from a customer standpoint. It's not as much about what you want to say as much as it is, do they respond to this message? You know, is this message effective in getting a response from them and getting them to call me or come to the showroom? Your website, what is it like to navigate your website? Is your website, are you making Google happy, or are you making customers happy? You know, so there's a lot of strategies within the website that we find that works. It's very effective to attracting more customers. And what is the proper spend? In the marketing chapter, we cover that a lot, and not so much as a percentage of sales, because it's something interesting. Not a lot of people have a budget based on a percentage of sales. What we do is we say, how much did we spend at the end of the year? How much business did we do? Okay, we spend this percentage on marketing. We don't plan on spending 5%, 10%, something like that. We look at the percentage of spend at the end of the year, and we judge the marketing that we're doing more based on what kind of results do we think we're going to get. So we'll trust somebody that is selling advertising if we believe they're going to get us results, and try that out. Overall, your budget, your spend should,
Is it more like, do you
it
look
goes
at the
down.
dollars? How much are you going to spend instead of what percentage you're going to spend?
I have some rules of thumb that you should be spending about $2,500 to $3,500 when you're new. Okay, that's going to be a higher percentage, of course, until you get sales ramped up. But one of the rules I have is, if you're going to do pay-per-click, which I think is one of the most effective forms of marketing, you spend a minimum of $1,500 per product category. So only spend $1,500 on carpet, only spend $1,500 on tile or luxury vinyl or hardwood. And then you got to consider what's going to get you the biggest, most effective return on investment. So what is going to capture their attention? In the beginning, when we started our business, we focused a lot on laminate. We never sold laminate, we sold luxury vinyl. But we knew that's what the customers were looking for. That's the key word they were typing in. And they weren't looking for laminate or luxury vinyl. What they were looking for was an alternative to real wood flooring.
And they didn't really know the difference until they get educated on it.
And they still don't really know the difference. I mean, some do, but
even on tile, like some people want tile, and then
and if you can attract people with a tile ad, and then if you want to shift them into something else, if you know how to do that properly. So that's something we talk about in coaching, is how to get people to shift into different products, how to do it honestly and ethically, and really serve their needs. One thing I talk about a lot in this book is the free marketing that you should be doing. Social media was a good strategy to use social media to shoot videos, to post. Now it's becoming necessary. It's not just a good strategy. It's important to do, because you need social media as part of your campaign. And one of the things I tell people, if I can go to your Facebook page and I don't see what you do for a living, well, why not? If you don't want your friends and family to know what you do, like, you separate your work from your personal life. Well, work is a large part of our personal life.
Especially as a business owner.
Especially as a business owner. So the people that like us, know us, and would use us and refer us the most probably should know what we do for a living.
That's true. And chapter 3 deals with pricing products and services. You don't see many books that gives advice on pricing. What should,
there's probably no
what
books.
You should change.
Well, there's not a lot of flooring books, business books.
There isn't. Yeah, that's true.
One of the only ones out there, and there's certainly not a lot of books that give advice on how much you should charge.
Especially when it comes to flooring business,
And one thing I found in our industry, one of the greatest impacts you can have to your business is make it easy to give a price. Once you make it easy to give a price, it's easier for people to buy from you, and it's easier to train and hire salespeople. It makes your business a lot more easier, so you can focus more on decorating and having fun with clients. So in this book, we show you how to give pricings and how to do it in a simple way. It's one of the things we worry about, a salesperson making sure they get all the details. Like, are we charging enough for moving furniture? Are we charging enough for any kind of floor prep?
The trims.
The trim.
Quarter round,
So what we've designed is a system to where you charge one price that covers all that. It covers moving furniture. And people say, well, how do you know how much they have? Get rid of the variables and go with the law of averages, whatever's the most common, and go with that and charge enough to cover everybody's basis. Your focus shouldn't be on giving an accurate price based on all the details. Your focus should be on getting the sale and providing an excellent customer experience. And if you do the pricing the right way, you make it much, much easier to have a better customer experience. And all customers want a better experience. They want more. They want that extra thing. And if you build it into your pricing, they'll go for it. One thing I get a question a lot is like, what if they say they'll move their own furniture? nobody offers to move their own furniture when you include it in the price.
Yeah, it's very rare. And if they do, you just tell them, I mean, you can take off the percentage that you had given them. I'll give you another 3% off or something. It shouldn't be too.
Yeah, or round down, you're at 5,200. I'll do it for 5,000.
Yeah. And also, like, it's interesting because with installers, especially installers that want to be business owners, they've seen all the different kinds of furniture in houses. So you'd think that they could come up with the average pricing for furniture moves, because
I use an average of $75 a room. You know, and this wholesale price is what we pay installers, $75 a room. I figure an average room size is 15 by 15. So it came up with an average price, I should know it off the top of my head, but an average price per foot for moving furniture.
Is that calculation? I was going to say.
In the book. So no, I break down the calculations. I show people exactly what you should charge. I show you how to break out and charge for carpet. That includes pad upgrade, it includes moving furniture, it includes a Dumbo spray treatment if you use that, it includes hauling the carpet, taking it away, throwing it out, it includes everything that you're going to do. You know, and so I show you how to do that using your numbers. I'm using numbers as an example, but you plug in your numbers to calculate what your price would be.
And selling strategies, what is unique about your advice versus all the other books on selling?
I think the number one reason people go to us and hire us is for sales training. So just like I was saying that we market and sell laminate, and it's to get a customer in who wants to buy flooring, I market and sell sales training, but what I'm really doing is helping them with their selling system. You know, but I know they're looking for sales training, so I'm promoting that. But to this point, the sales training section really comes into play once we make sales easy.
Yeah.
And we do walk through from start to finish, answering the most common questions that people ask over and over again. I mean, and the most common one is, how much do you guys charge?
Yeah.
Which is a random question. People ask it often. So I go through, why do people ask that question? And it's funny that nobody knows how to answer that correctly, because even though they've been asked it many, many times, they get frustrated, they get defensive, but they don't stop to think, you know, if I'm getting asked the same question over and over again, maybe I should prepare an answer. You know, think it through a little bit. Well, the answer we came up with was, well, tell me about your project. What are you working on? And what we find is that the customer's not really looking for the price. It's just a normal first question.
It's like an icebreaker for them to get started.
And one challenge I always have for my people, and if you're listening now, is like, what's a better first question for you to ask? And nobody can come up with a better first question that's common that everybody should ask. I'm like, so you can't even think of a good first question. Why do you think your customer should ask you a better question? You know, so it's, and once you realize it's a normal first question, then you stop being defensive about it, and you get to better understanding the customer more. And once you understand how to navigate it, it really changes the whole sales process, changes the conversation. But another thing that's a big part of the chapter is how to navigate to the in-home sales opportunity. Sales should be done in the home, because that's where the flooring is going. You should get out to the house. Our goal should be to get in the home so we can do our measuring, we can do our calculation quickly, come up with a price, and give them an opportunity to buy now. So when you're scheduling that appointment, one thing I teach people is, don't ask a question that people don't know the answer to, such as, what color are you looking for? They don't know what color. They haven't bought carpet before. They haven't bought flooring before. They don't really know what color. So the question that you should ask is, do you know what you're looking for, or would you like me to bring a selection out for you? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh, that's great. If you could bring a selection, I'd really appreciate that. And then when you're getting into wood, you could say you want a light tone, medium, or dark tone. So you can narrow it down a little bit, but you don't have to get in the weeds. You know, and with carpet, there's enough selection in all the sample books that we don't really, again, need to get in the weeds with it. We can bring out a healthy selection for them to look at. Go in the house, talk to them, build rapport, and then go back out to your car and grab the samples that you think they're going to really love.
A lot of the times I've seen that people are scared to bring samples and make that sale in their home because they're like, I can only bring so much samples in my house. So how do you train people to get around that obstacle?
It is funny though, the more experience that we have, the more obstacles we put in our way. Like giving a price in the home. Well, I can't do that because I need all the information. Well, I did that 6 years ago, but now I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you do that now? Well, because so many things have changed and they haven't developed a simple system for doing that. Same thing with, samples. Bring some samples out, learn. You will learn the stuff that you need to bring. What sells well, what works well. And even though that the customer is requesting certain things or they don't know what they want, I mean, that's our job as a professional, is kind of lead the dance, guide that customer through the appointment, and the customers want that. Now, I liken it to, have you ever gone to a restaurant and you ask a person, do you like the same food as your husband?
Yeah.
Do you guys have the same exact taste?
No.
No.
Well,
Okay, do you know anybody that has the same taste as you?
No.
Okay, but we ask a random stranger, a waitress, what they recommend we should eat, even though we don't have the same taste as that waitress, but it's a normal thing for us to do. We want advice. We want help. Well, it makes sense. The customers want that kind of advice and that help from us. We're the professionals. They ask us, even though we don't live there, we don't have the same decor, we don't have the same taste, they want to know what we think.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to tell them what you think.
There's basically an international specific questions to get the answer that you're looking for from them.
Well, I like to say, let's play the if this was my house game. This is what I would do if this was my house. Now that gives them the freedom to say, well, I don't like that, I would rather do this. And one thing that's interesting is when you present them with things that they don't like, that really helps them because it helps them push them in a direction that they know they'll like.
Yeah. Get them started. So chapter 5 is about hiring a top salesperson. I notice in this chapter it's quite in depth and it talks about more than just a salesperson, but hiring in general.
Yeah, I go through, actually all I did was copy and paste the hiring guide that I created for the flooring industry. So it's everything from secretary to a manager to operations manager to sales manager, and when is the right time to hire a salesperson, who's the first person you should hire, what's the ad that you're going to place, where you should place the ad, what's the interview process like, and even how much you should pay them. How to pay salespeople commission only. So I give you a lot of information in this chapter that really is a guide on how to hire. So you can adjust things for your city, your area, if you need to go up or down a little bit. But it gives you a lot of good information that is plug and play, so you don't have to figure out like creating an ad from scratch, or where to place it, or how much should you pay, or the structure that you should use. We created a commission-only pay system that is based on a guaranteed minimum, and that has worked really good especially for cash flow purposes. And it's a fair system for both the store and the salesperson. It makes a lot of sense because you want your salesperson's pay to be directly related to their performance for cash flow, because a lot of people that are starting out, they may overpay a salesperson. They may overpay an employee to the point where it's not sustainable. And it's not to say that employee's not worth it, but you've got to watch your cash flow and the money that you're spending.
Especially
and
sometimes
you got to manage it right.
Sometimes jobs it's supposed to only take a few weeks, and then it ends up taking longer, and then you don't get the final payment, and then it's just running around. And this was an interesting topic, chapter 6 about leadership. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think leadership is a very, very complicated thing. It's actually a very short chapter. I was looking at it this morning. It is a very short, simple chapter, but we were just having this conversation about this on Facebook this morning about, the salespeople and how important it is for you to lead your team, and that your salespeople, their performance, all your employees' performance is a direct reflection of your leadership. Now, I've met some people that don't have good leadership skills, and maybe we can put somebody in the place that has those leadership skills. But the best way to lead is, one, you set up the vision of the company. What's the goals? Where are we trying to get to? And the next best thing is to keep score. Where are we at? Where are we at total as a company, and where are each individual sales person at? And I tell people like this, and I know there's a lot of people that don't keep score. They have no idea where they're at. So I tell them like this, do you like sports? They say, yeah, I like watching basketball. All right, would you watch a basketball game when they didn't keep score?
No.
How long would you be interested in it? So if you want your salespeople, your employees in general, if you want them to be more interested and involved in growing the company, they need to know what the score of the game is, because everybody will just naturally improve. One of the things we have our clients do is do a breakout, and that's in this book, of keeping score of what's your annual sales like.
Yeah.
So what is it month to month, and what does it compare to last year? You can't look at that and not be influenced to try and do better.
Yeah. Or even just a month or the week before. When you talk about your weekly meetings, of course.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it is the leadership comes in the form of the weekly meeting, where you're repetitive about many things. You have to say over and over again what your expectations are, and a lot of people get frustrated. It's like, well, they're adults, they should get it, they should understand it. Well, no, that doesn't work. I mean, you have to tell them over and over and over again, usually to get them to do what you want them to do. And then when they're not performing, you've got to, remind them over and over again. So it's not easy, but that's what leadership's about. It's taking that responsibility and understanding. I got to understanding it more as I got older too. Understanding what it took. I went through the frustration of people not doing what I wanted them to do, and it was on me to try to learn how to get a better performance out of people. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to let them go, but you need to try to be a better leader first and foremost.
Yeah, that's true. And one of my favorite is the last chapter, how to scale to $5 million.
It's a fascinating topic to me, because just observing many companies out here, and I work mostly with the family-owned businesses, smaller companies, and I'm not working with the Jason Goldbergs and the Refloors and the large companies doing 100 million more. And so when we talk about scaling,
You're okay.
when we talk about scaling to 5 million, what does that take? I find that having one store where it's very difficult to do 5 million out of one store. It seems like it takes at least 2 stores to do 5 million. And so why is that? Well, I think there's only so much, even in metropolitan cities, there's only so much business you can do in a certain area, it seems like, before you tap it out. Now, instead of opening another store, can you just heavily market in that area? We've tried that too. It doesn't work very well. Like, having that second store makes the marketing much more effective. How far should that second store be? Within 30 minutes. That way the marketing's overlapping. How many employees does it take? So kind of look at some of these things. How much dollars in marketing spend would you need? What percentage? what product should you be selling at this point? And can you get there by selling a different product or an additional product? Like if you're really good at selling luxury vinyl, you sell a ton of it. Could you add carpet in? Could you add even countertops? So I've seen some other products scale faster like that. So it is something that I think is fascinating to look at. And we can even look and talk about sizes of showrooms. What's the perfect size showroom to have? And I think even the showroom we have here is 5,000 square feet is perfect size because you got a balance of showroom space. A showroom size, about 2,000 square feet, is very ideal, where you have just the right amount of products and space that it's comfortable to shop.
What do you think about showrooms that doesn't have a warehouse? How do you expand?
It's harder to manage, so you got to figure out how are you going to manage that? Where is this product's going to be delivered to? Do you need an off-site warehouse? Can you have it delivered where your installers pick it up? There's a lot of different ways to work that. So that's the fun of consulting. Is like trying to game plan and figure these things out. And that's where even having a consultant or coach really helps to bounce ideas off of. And the idea behind any consultant or coach is to help you move faster, help you reach your goals, whether it's 5 million. I had somebody say the other day that he's very happy where he's at. Well, that's great. Not everybody has to get to 5 million. If your lifestyle, everything is going along and you're enjoying where you're at, then that's perfectly fine. I've also had people that are bored because they're comfortable, they're making good money, but they don't have a challenge. So they want to expand maybe for reasons of creating another challenge. Or people who are interested in expanding, so buying another store or selling. There's so many fascinating ways to run a flooring business. And just to be clear, the book is for residential retail sales. It's not as much for commercial. I don't delve in that area that much. I find commercial sales to be a lot more difficult and not as rewarding. The dollar amount's a lot higher.
It's a lot longer process too.
Yeah, you're charging less money for the privilege of getting paid later. It's like we're doing charity work for large corporations, so we charge them less money, we get paid later. I don't like that setup. I like residential retail where you can get higher margins, work faster, get paid faster. And some people find that more complicated, but I enjoy that, and that's the subject. I don't try to be an expert in everything. So if you're doing under $5 million and you're trying to grow your flooring business, get the Flooring Business Playbook. I mean, it's going to tell you everything you need to know right down the line from the business standpoint of it. So don't have much about installation in there or about the product and how the product's made. I have the business part, the sales, hiring, marketing.
And these are things that we're going to be talking about and discussing in our workshop. So if you haven't registered, you still have time. If you have any questions about that, everybody that's going to the workshop that doesn't have the book is going to get the book there.
And the workshop is November 14th and 15th, 2024. So if you're seeing this video after that, sorry you missed out on it.
You have to wait.
Get the book. Call us up for a one-on-one strategy call so we can help get you going and get you to profit now in the flooring industry.
Yes. Yeah. Yay. I'm so excited. It's fun. Good job, Jerry. You did very good.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks for joining the Flooring Business Podcast. Now, if you'd like to have a one-on-one discovery call and learn how you can increase your profit and sales by over 30%, go to jerrylevinson.com. And let's discuss where you're at and where you want to go. Don't forget to tune in next week where we have another great podcast with another flooring pro.